R programming. Here my screen. So please, can you see this place? Download R programming. Can you see it? Please confirm.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
This is download R programming. So from here, you can now download it for Windows. This is for Mac. Just say download R programming for Mac. Mac Pro. As you can see, from here, you can now download it. So for R Studio, the same thing. Download R Studio. Okay, this is it. So come here. Right. So look at the version you want to install. Is it Windows? Is it Mac? So you can see it's free. But there are some packages that are not free. For example, R Studio Desktop Pro. It costs now $95 per year. You need this one for now. Company can do this for you. But now that you are working on your own, you cannot do it. All right. Let me. Please confirm if you can see my video.
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. Right. So now these are the companies that are using R programming for their various data analysis, data visualization, or whatsoever you call them. So, for example, this is KPMG. We know KPMG in Nigeria. Which one again? This is Deloitte. We know them in Nigeria. This is HP and many more. So, which means that if you learn R, okay, you have more opportunities to work in different companies, be it Nigeria, be it overseas. So you have a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of communities in R that can also help your journey to learn R. For example, Outdated Global. Okay, in Nigeria we have Ibadan R Reserve Group, we have Lagos R Reserve Group, we have Abuja R Reserve Group. So these are communities that can also make your journey to be easier in R. Okay, the second section of this PDF, we'll be looking at R for data science. Why do we need to use R for data science? So before we define what data science is, and I know that everyone in this class can define data science. Let me start from Julius Odunuga. Please unmute yourself and tell us what you understand by data science.
Okay, data science, to me, I think data science is the process of like an art of using data to answer questions, like getting input from data, answer to questions through data.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's it. That is it. So in this class, okay, we look at how we can import the data set. I call this one data science phases. So they are just 6. Number 1, import, tidy, transform, visualize, model, and communicate. So the first thing in data science is to import data sets. So without data, there is nothing called data science. Nothing. So we import data sets. The second process is tidy. And tidy is the process at which we arrange our data sets into structure. So there's this thing called tidy principle. The first principle in tidy is that every column must be a row. Every column must be a variable. And every row must become an observation. I will show us later how this one is. And also transform. So transformation is a process at which we create a variable from an existing variables. When we are creating some what the Bible we call derived variables. So in that case, we are doing what is called transform or transformation. Visualize is the process at which we represent our data set into some charts, into different charts. How we visualize our data set in a proper way that everyone can understand. people say that pictures speak more than 1,000 words. And model, this is where we create our model, where we train our data set so that the model can learn the pattern from the data, and then we can use it for better prediction. And the communicate here is the process at which we communicate what the insights that we generated from data set and for our stakeholders. Okay, for example, now like some teachers are here, they will know that after they get the data set, try to clean it, try to do data visualization, try to do different modeling. The next thing is to bring out insight and communicate your result and finding, and you try to conclude. So whatever you are doing in that process is what we call communication. All right. So we have what is called basic data structure in R. But before we go into this one, we look at the various atomic objects in R. So I'm going to switch my R studio and show us. Let me share my screen. Okay, please can you see my R studio?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you so much. Before I start anything, let me quickly introduce us to this R studio. So as I said before, R studio is the IDE for R programming. Okay, and the normal panel of R studio, is divided into four. The first panel here is what we call editor or source script. Thank you. Right? So this is where we do all our codings. And why are we doing this? Number one, to be able to save our scripts. Okay, what we save in this place is called scripts. Okay, while the panel itself is called either editor or source. For example, let's say that age of students. Don't let me use let's say age is equal to the age of Julius is, let's say, 35. We promoted you there, okay? We are promoting you. So your age is 35. All right, as you can see now, I can call out the age. Okay, I can even add my age to it, let's say 15. Okay, altogether it's 50. And from there, I can press Ctrl S to save this script, as you can see. Let's say 80 and click on save. That becomes script for us. Can you see my screen? Can you see my desktop?
Yes, we can.
Okay, that becomes R script. Thank you. So this place, the second panel here, is what we call console. This is where anything we run here. This is the engine that runs it. For example, as you can see, when you press Ctrl Enter, okay, either at the end of the line or at the beginning of the line or anywhere, just press Ctrl Enter. I don't like people that use this run to run their script. It's not fine. Okay? So you can use short for that is Ctrl Enter. So this is the engine that makes it work. So why are we not programming in this place? The reason is that if I do anything here, let's say women, okay, let's say we have data set called women, which consists of the height and weight of women in US. So they got the data set through a survey. So if I try to save this woman, let's call it a boot camp women, for example. All right. So there is no way I can save this thing. It's not possible. I can't save anything under this console. I can only use console to run. And when you want to run something under the console, you just single enter. You don't need to press Ctrl Enter. Click left place. Continue.
Yes, continue, please. You get it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And the third section here is called output. This is where we see our various charts. But there are a lot of sections here. We have files. This is where if you want to open any file on your computer, you can come here and open it. As you see my desktop, I can open anything here. For example, this is stage image, and this is me here. Right? I can open it directly from R Studio. Okay, under the plot, this is where your data visualization will show. So, for example, let me plot the age of the height of women to their weight. So I can just say, don't mind my code. We understand this is not the better way. This is not the better way of doing it. So let's say women. I can now say plot what? I want to plot height. Let's work in common. As you now, this is showing the weight of women against their height. And as you can see, it is linearly related. Okay, this is there's linear relationship between heights. And in this place, this is where we see our various packages in R, those that come by default and we install. And here is where we get the help file. So, for example, I don't know what width is in R, so I can just come here by using question mark. For those people that are coming from Python, so in R, to get the help or documentation of a particular function, you use question mark. So question mark, then what you are looking for, width. So you can include the parentheses there, or you can put it. This is valid an expression in data environment. Okay. For example, our print word. So you can say print. What does print mean in R? So this one print values with the control wherever you run it. After this place, this is viewer. The function of this viewer is, let's say you have an HTML file and you want to see it in action in R Studio. This one displays it. Okay, I have one script. Let me open it so that I can show us how viewer works. Okay, I have function for display. Let me run it. And then let's say I want to look at the structure of a data set called women. For example, I just come here and say display. I wrote this function by myself, but you see how I wrote it later and say women. Library. So to import the library in R, okay, you know in Python you say import something from something, but in R you just type library. That's it. Library what? I want to load library for tidyverse. Okay. Learn about tidyverse later and how we can install library or packages in R. So now let me run my script again. So as you can see, something came out in the viewer section, which showed the data structure of the data set. Which shows the structure of the data set. For example, as you can see, this data contains 15 rows and 2 columns. These are the variables, height, and weight, and this is the class of height. Okay. In Python, you say the type. So the class of height is numeric, and the class of weight is also numeric. These are just let's say the range of that height and weight. So the range of height is 58 to 72. That is the bandwidth of the data of the column called height. For the weight, we have 115 to 164. And here, I also display the head of the data set. This one shows on the console, and we can see the first 6 rows of the data set. Is it clear, please? So I wrote the function by myself. I will show us what that function does. But what the function does is just to display. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something interfering with your audio.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe there's a fan around you or something, but there's something interfering with the sound.
Yes. I have fan I've stopped it.
Thank you.
Because of it. Yeah, okay. No problem. I will manage. All right. So now we can see the how the viewer section works, and the console tool. The console display the first 6 data sets, and we were able to get this because of that function. All right. So the last panel is called environment panel. Okay, this is where we those objects that we already saved in variables. For example, I have boot woman, I have age, I have function. In this place, it shows the history of all the objects in R. In this place, we have connection. This is where when we connect R to R squared, for example, okay, this is where we see the connection. And here is the tutorial. If you want to learn anything in R, okay, with the help of a package called Learn R, you can use a tutorial in R. So I hope we can use R Studio now. Hello. Hi, Alima, can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me, please? Hello. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let me go back to my PDF again. So please, before we go to this basic data structure, let's quickly look at different atomic objects in R. So for example, let's say we have age, or let's say my friend, who happens to be Alima. Okay. So because I'm using text, okay, which you call a string in Python, okay, R takes this as character. So if I say Alima now, you know that for every string there must be a quotation, either double quotation or a single quotation. I'll still accept the two. So for Alima now, Alima happens to be a string object in Python, but in R call it a character. So how do we check the type of object in R? So type is used in Python, while class is used in R. So let's see, class, friend. Okay, let me clear my screen. To clear your console, you press Ctrl L. All right, so now you see class friend is telling me is character. All right, so if you look at number, for example, age, let's say the age of Alima is 29, for example. Okay, age. The class of this variable called age, let's see, it will be numeric because it's a number. So R takes float integer as numeric. For example, if I come again and say our age is now 29.9, okay, so the class of age will also be numeric. Okay. Hi, Alima, please can you allow people to talk? So this is an interactive class. Alima, please let people be able to talk.
So,
Hello.
anyone who wants to talk should raise their hands. Then we would have to ask them to unmute so that it doesn't get rowdy.
Okay, thank you, Lincoln. Thank you. So please, if you want to talk, kindly raise your hand and they will allow you to talk. Okay, so both integer and float is called numeric in R. As you can see, 29.9, call it
So now everyone will be able to unmute themselves, Ezekiel, since that's what you want for the class. So
yes, please.
all right, everyone will be able to unmute themselves.
Thank you so much. So for the class of Boolean, okay, in R, we will use capital letter throughout, which is true. That be true or false, as you can see. So, but in Python, you know that it will only be capital letter T and everything small letter. But in R, it will be capital letter throughout. So, for example, I can just say that, for example, DSN is true, okay? And what is the class of DSN? The class of DSN in R will be called logical. As you can see, it is not logical. So R, we call it bool, which is B-O-O-L, but R, we call it logical. Please, let's not forget. And the other one that I want to tell us is what we call a factor. For example, factors are categorical variables. You will note that religion in Nigeria, the common religion, or let me use ethnicity. So ethnicity in Nigeria, the common ones are, so don't worry about this. Let me use their initial: Christian, Muslim, okay. Oh, sorry, ethnicity, not religion. Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. These are the in Nigeria. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. So the journey of R, okay, your journey in R programming, you always have error. So it is not a cause, okay. When you have an error, try to read something. So I want to show us how this one will become a factor later. So to do that, we now use factor, all right, and put the variable there, ethnicity. So it will be from vector, so from the vector character to vector factor. And now we have factor. Now, as you can see, so it becomes a factor class. So if I call the class of this class now, so it will tell me it's a factor. As you can see, it's a factor because it has 3 levels, which we have as Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. Is it clear, please?
Please, what's the equivalent of factor in Python?
So it is called categorical, something like that. So you can use pandas to do that. And okay, now all right.
What's the use of the C that you put in front of them?
All right, thank you. It's a good question. I will tell us later in this next slide, this slide. All right, can you see my slide? Basic data structure or type in R. Can you see it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can.
Okay, now we have just 4. Okay, there are many, but let's say the basic ones are 4. Okay, and they call a vector. So a vector is the collection of elements of the class. So vector is called a list in Python. Okay, you know, when you want to have a list, you use a square bracket in Python, but in R, we use this C called concatenate. Okay, let me come here. Vector. So now the vector of, for example, the age of people in this class. All right, so in R, put everything, all the elements inside that bracket. So now we have, let's say, Alima, how old are you? 29. Lekan, how old are you? Maybe 31. I don't know. All right. Who else who want to tell us his or her name?
Felix.
How old are you, sir?
21.
21. Okay. Another person, the last person, please.
Ezekiel.
24, right?
32.
Okay. 32.
21.
All right.
22.
It's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sounds
So
hard,
the
man.
age now. So when you run this one now, this become a vector, and you can look at the value by calling out the variable name again, age. As you can see, this is it. Okay, and this is one-dimensional array. Why is it one-dimensional array? Because it has, let's say, it has one row, and this is the row, as you can see, with many elements, like how many? 4. So in how to get the number of elements, you just use length. So in Python, you will use len, but in R, you write it in 4. So which means that to learn R from Python to R is easier. So as you can see, this is 4. And now, how do we subset element from a vector? So the index of R starts with 1, while Python starts with 0. So for R now, you can say age, the same thing, square bracket, right? So if I want this first person, I use 1 here. For the people that are just learning R, the first element is 1, second one is 2, third one is 3, and fourth one is 4. So once you have a vector like this, so to slice any element, you use a square bracket, and you now put the index that corresponds to that element. For example, if I want to get this 32, so somebody should tell me what should I put in this square bracket?
4.
4, thank you, 4. And you run it, and you can see it now. So if I want 29 and 21, how will I get it? How will I do it? Somebody should tell me.
You use a
That's 4.
vector. You use a vector in the square bracket.
Thank you so much. Yeah, because if I use 1, comma, and 3, for example, I will throw an error. Why? Because this thing has become what is called two-dimensional array. And don't forget, vector is just one-dimensional array. So to do that, I will make this thing to become another vector. So by putting C here and concatenate it to become to become a vector, and then I run it. As you can see, 29 and 21. All right.
Hello. Sorry, can I ask a question?
Please do.
In Python, if you want to call for the last number like 32, you can just say -1. How can you do that?
That's a good question. So if I use -1 in R will remove the first element from the list, from the vector, as you can see. So, but in R, to do that, you just use length, because you know that the length, okay, correct, the length corresponds to the last element here. So I now say length age. Don't forget that ordinary length is just is 4. So if you now say 1, 2, 3, 4, so this 4 will correspond to 32, which is the last one. So I run it and I get it. Is it clear?
Yes, okay, it's clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Ezekiel, there's a question in the chat section. Are you saying is to R as array is to Python?
What do you say?
There's a question on the chat section, so I just read it. So someone
please say it again.
Sir, please, are you saying vector is to R as array is to Python?
Vector is to R. Yeah, vector is R because as you can see here, we have 4 different data structure in R. The first one is vector, second one matrix and stuff like that. So for R, okay, list, okay, we can compare, we can say that, okay, list in Python is the same thing as vector, is as vector in R. Is that clear?
Yes.
List in Python is as vector in R.
Okay,
and why? Hello, because we have a long way to go. If we start, struggling in this one, we can spend all our days here. All right, continue, please.
Okay, my question is, in Python, you can have a list in a list. You can have a list of lists. Can we have a vector also in R?
Exactly, yes. So we can get that one, and it will become, okay, if I have a vector, it will still become vector. For example, let's say I have age of people that were able to get into boot camp. Let me say their DSN age, for example. Let me say another people, unfortunately, they could not come to the boot camp. Let me call them non-DSN. Sorry to use that word. If I have create another vector again, that's 23, 1, something like that. Okay, so if I create vector in R, okay, it will still become a vector. It will just add it to the last element. So let's see it here. Age, DSL. Okay, don't forget it's a vector, so we have to add C to it, comma, and another age. Is that what you're talking about, sir? And it will become a vector. It still become a vector. It's like you are using a plus for list in Python. You know, it will start from the last element of the first list. So that's it. Hello?
I don't think that's what it's saying.
Okay, you can't see my arrow?
No, like in Python, we can have lists inside the list. Like it's not like when you add them, the element, there's a function that does that too, that adds both elements in two lists together. Like inside, like an element in this list should be a list.
Okay, an element in this list should be a list. So yes, don't forget that we are doing Python out here. So we want to, you know, maybe so that we not disturb others.
Yes.
Okay.
Please, let's defer all questions till after the class, please.
Okay, thank you. So for the second one here, we have a matrix. So how do we do matrix in R? Okay, there's a function. Don't forget that matrix is a two-dimensional array. So why? Because it has both row and column. Okay, so to do that in R, we do something like this. Okay, there's a function called matrix. And it has like some argument. The first one is the vector. Okay, so let me use a vector which will be 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, okay, I come out there. The number of rows that you want the matrix to be, maybe 2. The next one, okay, let me include the argument so that we understand it clearly. N row is 2. N col, which is n column. The number of column is 2. Okay, so if we run this thing, we have a matrix, as you can see. So, but now, if you want to arrange it by row wise, so there's a function in R called row wise. Is it row wise? By row. So by row, a logical class, true or false. So you can say true. So maybe you want to arrange it by row so that it will not be 1, 2, and 3, 4. So if you run this one now, okay, as you can see, this is by row. And if you don't put that here, how we arrange it by column. All right. So let me hold this one as DD, for example. And you can do anything that you can do for matrix operation. For example, the trace. So trace is like this, DD. Okay. Must be what? Okay. Sorry. Let me use determinant, for example. All right. Determinant DD. All right. This is a determinant. You can do inverse. Okay. What is the inverse? Solve, for example. Let's see. See solve. Okay. Let's not worry about this, please. Data frame. So data frame is also another data structure in R. Data frame is also two-dimensional array, while it has rows and columns. So for example, let's look at the default data set here. We have data set called iris in R. Okay, let me view it clearly so that we can see. So to view the data set, we can just use capital V and other small letter and view it. So R will now view it as a spreadsheet. As you can you see my R Studio, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I see it as like Excel, like spreadsheet now. So this is the length, this is first variable, first column, second column, third column, fourth column, and fifth column. So, and we can play with it. Now to slice an object in R, let's say I want, okay, I want the first row. I want all the observation in the first row. So how to do that in R is this. So you come to the variable, okay, yeah, iris. You say iris. So use the square bracket. Don't forget, for matrix and data frame, so we'll be using two-dimensional array. So let's say this is row and this is column. Okay. So if I want the first row, I just come here, first row. But the column, I want all the columns. So in Python, you can do something like this, but in now we don't do anything. Just leave it empty like that and you run it. So this will give you, okay, let me try to view it so that you can see clearly. So view is a function to display it out, as you can see. So we only have the first observation with all the columns. So if I want maybe, let's say I want first five rows, and just maybe first two columns, for example. So first two columns, and I can run it again like this, and I have it now. So is it clear, please?
Yes.
All right. So it's a two-dimensional array. The first one here represent the row, and the second one here represent the columns. So for example, let's say I just want first row, third row, and fifth row. How will I do it? First row, all the columns, but I want first row, third row, and fifth row. Anyone can help us? Oh yeah, exactly. Vector, first row, third row, and fifth row. Because I want all the columns, so I will leave this one empty. Then I run it, and that is it. All right. And now the last element is called a list. The last data structure in R is called list. So why do we need to use a list, for example? Number one, don't forget both matrix can hold object of the same type. Data frame can hold object of different classes. The same thing, list can hold different classes and different length. But in data frame, all of them must have the same length. So if it is, if height is 15 observations, weight should also be 15. So if height is 17 and weight is 15, I will throw an error. So, but for list, it doesn't matter. And list can hold different objects. So let me show us, for example, I have a vector called Fatima. So Fatima, her age is 21. I have a matrix. Let me take this matrix again. I have a matrix called DD, for example. Okay, and I have a data frame called cast. All right, so let me save it as empty cast. All right, so if I run this thing, I run Fatima, I run DD, I run empty cast. So if I create another object called list type, for example, list type, and I try to save everything. So the function for list in R is called list, L-I-S-T, as its name indicates. So I can now insert my object there, Fatima, okay, DD, an empty cast. All right, then I run it. So if I look for the list type, okay. So let me show us here now. Number one, okay, let me start from, okay, let me clear my screen by pressing Ctrl L. To get the history back, I use up arrow key on my keyboard. So the first one is the vector. As you can see, that is a numeric vector that has one element. The matrix, this is the matrix, while the third one is the list. So if I want to extract only the first one here, which happens to be our vector in R, so this is how I will do it. So I come here, I say list type, okay. Then I will extract it. So there are two ways of doing that. Number one, I can use for example, double square bracket with, let's see, if I put one here, so it gives me only the what? Only the vector. So if I put 2 here, bring out the matrix for me. As you see, this is matrix. So if I put 3 here, it will bring out the data frame. Okay. So this is that it brought out. And out of this, let's say that in this matrix, please, can you hear me? Can you see what I'm doing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, follow
Yes,
okay. So if I look at
this,
okay, if I look at the matrix, for example, let's say I want this guy here, the first row here, which happens to be 1 and 3. All right, how would I do that? Don't forget, this thing now has brought out only the matrix for me. So to get the first row here, so I just come here and now insert another square bracket. Like you are doing it initially in matrix. Don't forget, matrix is two-dimensional array. So I come here, the first row, and I leave this one empty. So it will make it as first column and second column. So now I have 1 and 3. So if I want only the first column here, so and the answer will become 1. So it shows the first element. So this should just be to extract only the element, and that's it. So I don't know if you have any question for. I still have 2 other materials. I hope we have time to get all of them.
So you said there are 2 ways to be able to extract the content of the list.
Yes.
You've not talked about the second way.
Okay, let me see. Maybe I have made this so simple. All right. Okay, let me use DD for example to understand it better. Is it DD? No, not DD. List type, for example. List type. So if I don't use square brackets here, okay, and I use only one bracket, and I put my 1 here, I'm expecting a vector, right? So it's a vector, but this guy still come out. And this one is telling us that, okay, you have 3 lists, and this is the first one. And under the first object here, the something is 21. So if I put 2 here, see what will come out. It's telling me this is another list, but the object of that list is this one. Okay. And if I put another 3 here, so it will still show me the data frame, but it's telling me that it's still a list. It's a member of the list. This one is like a member. It's a member of the list, while the object is okay. And now to be able to get this thing out, okay, that is why we are using square bracket. So square bracket will only extract the element out for us without showing that it's a member of a list. So let me say this one, for example. Because the data frame empty car is so large, let me just put 2 here. So this one we just that it's just a matrix and it is not a member of the list as you have it here. But if I use just only 2, it will tell me it's a member of the list and the object is this. So is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that one will now take me to the second one here, our studio, our projects, and packages. Can you see this second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will quickly, because I want us to see how we can answer various questions using R programming for diverse examination. All right, I've talked about R and R Studio, R packages, and library. Why are we installing packages in R? Okay, we see that packages helps us to, it enhance the functionality of R. It extends the basic R programming. Without packages, you cannot do, like, it will be hard for us to do some complex work in R. So that's why some people like you and me, sat down and developed a package. So a package is a set of functions in R. Like me now, as I showed you before, I have display data. Let's say I have different functions for different things, and I now put those functions together. I can now create a package for it. So package is like, okay, different suite of functions that they bring together, and it becomes a package. And the reason why we need package is to be able to, to extend our functionality. All right. So if you see something like this, okay, this thing is telling you that this is a package, this is a base package. And when you have double colons here, okay, it means that this function, okay, comes from this package. So which means that directly you can use this function without even load the package. Is it clear, please?
Yes.
In Python, there is no way you will use okay, but in R, it's possible you use a function in a package without loading it. All right. So to do that, so see this thing, because myself, it cost me a lot of days to know is using this function from this package. So I will show us how it is in action now. Okay. All right. So let's look at it, for example. Notes dplyr. Hello. How many of us knows dplyr package? Hello. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's look at this example. We have a data set called. All right, thank you. Okay, let's look at the data set. I want it to have any. I want it to have some values. I pray it has some missing values. All right. Okay, let me use iris data set, for example. Iris. Okay. The first one in the first variable to have any. Okay, let me call it iris DSM. I want to show us something, please. All right. So let's see it. Iris. DSM. Oh, no. Okay, let's do something like this, please. Women. This is a default data set in R. Okay, let me say I want to load a package called library dplyr. So library dplyr, some data wrangling or data cleaning for data analysis. So I load the library dplyr. Now to be able to see some functions in this page, we use dplyr. Okay, as you can see this thing, the double colons here. So these double colons will show us the list of different functions in R. Whereas if I just load it, I will not see anything. So out of this now, okay, in fact, let me use janitor for example. Library janitor. Library janitor, for example. Okay. So if I want to see some functions in janitor, I'm going to use double colon here. And now what I want to bring out is this function called table. All right. So see this table, eh? Now let me say I want to use iris data set and now species in this data set. As you can see this one here, for example. Okay.
Please, does janitor perform the same function as dplyr?
No. Okay. They have different functions, okay, and they have different situations where we may need them. So one package will for us, so we can have different things in different something. So table, okay, and this one helps us to get the table, for example. So without me loading the library, okay, that's exactly what I want to bring out. Without me loading the library, I can take this function out, okay, and use it directly. Is it clear? But now, if I want to load the library janitor, okay, it's loaded now. Now I can now take a function out of it, table. All right, and let's say iris. Okay, this for example, can you see? It's still the same thing. But before I can use this function, okay, I have to load the library. But if I don't want to load the library, okay, I can just call it out directly. And why will I do that? The reason is that some functions may have the same name. Are you getting it? May have the same name. For example, filter. So there's a package in R. It's a default package. So it is called start, for example. Start. So this start has a function called filter. This one, for example. It has a function called filter. As you can see this one. It has filter. Now, dplyr too has a function called filter. See now. So if you load this package and load dplyr, there will be a function conflict. So sometimes your script can bring an error, and you'll be like, oh, but I always use filter now. So why am I having error? So it means that maybe your script is using this one, the first one under this package starts. Whereas what you need to do is to use what you wanted to use is this filter for dplyr. So to be able to solve that conflict, okay, you can try to call the library that has that function. So in that case, you don't have any problem again. You may not experience this now, but when you start experiencing it, don't forget what I just explained here. Okay. So please, can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how do we install a package in R? So to install a package, you use this function, install.packages. And whenever you're using this function, it means that this package is already in the CRAN. CRAN means comprehensive R. all the published R packages are. Okay, and you need internet to do this. As you know that whenever you are installing something, even in Python, you will need internet. So therefore, you need internet to install any package. So let me come to my R. So if I want to, let's say I don't have this janitor. Okay, if I want to install janitor, how will I install it? You can come here, install. Okay, install dot packages. This one. All right. You put quotation. There must be a quotation when you are installing it. Say janitor, for example. Okay, so now I can run it now. It's telling me that one or more of the packages that will be updated is already currently loaded. So I need to restart my R. So just say yes. So it will come again. Okay, and I can now get it installed. Okay, as I'm doing this, I will get maybe the current version of janitor. All right, this is the first way of installing it. The second way of installing a package is like you come here under the output panel, you come to packages, and you click on install. As you see, install. So a box will come out. Can you see this box?
Yes.
So exactly. So you can now put a package. So which package do you want me to install? So let's say ggplot2 for data visualization. That is grammar of graphics. So you just click here and you install it. And that is how we install package in R. All right. But the good thing about R is that if a package, and me now, I am creating some functions that can do a lot of stuff. Okay. If you look at my folder here, see this one here. I call string R extension. So there's a package now called string R. But this package, I want its functionality. So I want to create my own. Okay. Maybe where the guy stops, I want to continue from it. So I have a lot of functions. Can you see this? Can you see it to the right? Can you see it? Hello?
Yes, we can
see.
Okay, so these are the, some function that I created and I want to develop it as a package. So this one, it will extract the text to the right. I call it str right. So for example, if you have Alima, for example, I want the first characters in the Alima. So, it will be HAL. That is, I'm extracting HAL out. So let me do it now. Let me run it. I run this script, okay, and I say str right. Oh, sorry, this is right. So it will take from the right and take the last three elements. For example, let's say Alima. Okay, it's telling me N is missing. Okay, I want to extract the last three elements. See, so the answer is MAH. That is it, the last three. If I want the first three elements, like we do it in Excel, okay, I just say str left, okay, and say Alima. All right, so this will give me, oh my God. Okay, so it's asking for N. So my N is 3. So this, so I also wrote another function called str mid. So let's say I want to start from the middle. For example, I want to say str mid. All right, I want to say Alima is a female, for example. All right. So now this str mid, I want to start from this F, okay? Or let me say I want to start from I and end at A. How will I do it? I just come here, okay? So it's asking me for where do you want to start from? So if I count it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want to start from 12. That is for I, and then I want to end. Where do you want to end? Okay.
9 to 9.
Yeah, maybe. Just let me say 15. I don't know. See what is coming out. So it's taking it. Okay, somebody said 9. Okay. 9 to what, ma?
I think 9 to 11. Or 9 to 12.
Something like that. Okay. 9 to 12. So as you can see, I wrote this function for myself to do something for what I want it to do for. And if I have time, okay, I will add more function to it, and that can become a package that everybody can also install. And also, I also contributed to what is called Raga package in the R community. So Raga package is used for web scraping. If you have a data set on the web and you want to scrape it, okay, so we have for Raga. You can try to install it on your own free time. All right. Okay, if a package is not in CRAN, how do we install it? So there are some people that put their set of functions in GitHub. Okay, so to install any function that is not on CRAN, we are going to use a library called DevTools. And then there's called install GitHub. So from there, you can now put the username of the person on GitHub and the name of that repository. As you can see, the username is thinkopen, and the name of that repository is called Faka. And from here now, we can have it. Okay. All right. Alima, do we still have left?
We have about 18 minutes left.
Okay. So I'm going to give her this slide so that we now go to the proper class. So can we go to the proper class now? This is what I call proper class, where you see how to answer the question and then the solution for that question. And we can also think about it together. Can we continue, please?
Yes, we can.
So can you see my browser?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this in R as you. So this. Okay. Okay, R Markdown. We have what's called R Markdown. And the importance of R Markdown is to be able to create a report. As I told you, one of the data science phases is you communicating your findings. So now R helps us to be able to do that. Inside the R, you don't need to go to the MS Word or go to the PowerPoint and start, putting things together. So you can easily do everything in R with the help of R Markdown. So R Markdown has like 3 outputs. The first one is MS Word. The second one is PowerPoint. The third one is, in fact, PDF. We still have what is called, so to create an R Markdown. So you come to this plus here in your Markdown, as you can see, what we call R Markdown. So you click R Markdown. So now it's asking you, what output format do you want? Okay, if I want HTML, I will put HTML. If I want PDF, I will use PDF. If I want, I will use. And let me try to use MS for example, so that we see it. And then we can now, okay, it's asking me the title. This is just a basic format. And this place, we call it YAML, YAML, YAML. It means yet another markup language. So this YAML, okay, is like the header, okay, where you put your title, the title of the store. Let me see. So please, can somebody tell me your name?
Victor.
Okay, let's say Lenny R. Okay, with Vicky. All right. Maybe his full name is Victor Olopade. But you don't like Olopade? What do you
Damola.
Okay, Victor Damola. Thank you. And today is, you can put the date, you can even put the format you like. Me, I like to write it as October, something like this. October 2020. All right. So I want my output to be in MS Word. See what you happen. So R has created some, basic stuff for us to how R Markdown works, but I want to delete it and show us something, just something. So R Markdown helps us to put our text together, our code together, our plot together, and everything together. Let's say I like to work. I like to work with Alima and let's say Victor. Okay, so now to create an R script here, okay, you are going to come here, okay, you are going to come to this side here and look. In fact, with the help of R Markdown, we can integrate our Python code in this thing. Okay, for those people that are here that know Python, okay, you can put your Python code here and R together. So there's a package that helps us to do that. We call it a reticulate package. So because of the time, I will not do it now, but I think I'm writing an article for that. So if I want an R script here, I will call it, so this place is called chunk. As you can see, we are using R engine here. Okay, let me even do it. Let me use Python again. So I have a Python engine called, you just insert it, Python, as you can see. Do it in Python. So let's say DD, create a vector of 1, 3, 5, and 7, okay? So because in how to get the data type, you use class. So the same thing I want to do, but I will use both R and Python together. Okay. So for Python, I will do something like, I will create a list, all right? I will create a list. Don't forget, in Python don't know this thing, so it only accepts assignments. So I create a list, and then I now create the type of the object. So the type is type. All right. So that is it. Let's say I want to create a plot again in. If I want to create a plot in R, I can also do it in Python as well. Don't forget, you just come here and switch it. But there's a package that will help us to do all these things. So this package is called reticulate. So let me load it in R. Don't forget, to do anything in R Markdown, you click on the engine that will do that. So I want to load the package library. All right. So that is it. So I want to load another library. Let's say library janitor, for example. All right, I don't need janitor. I'm just putting it there for this for us to understand how to load a library. All right. So okay, let me just plot something with. Let's just say plot woman height. So because this is a data frame, and now to just extract one column, okay, instead of doing like this, first and put something like this, okay, R helps us to be able to extract it using $sign. As you see, if I put $sign here, all the columns will come out. So I want height, and I also want weight, woman weight. All right, so that's all. Now to run it, you now click on neat. All right, neat. So if I need it now, it's asking me where I want to save it. I want to save it under this guy here. Okay, and call it Vicky. Okay, then I save it. See what will come out now. So R is loading it, it's loading everything. Works well, I will get a report in MS Word. Yeah. And also, while we are waiting for it to load, also name our, okay, as you can see, please can we clap for R? Hello, can we clap for our programming? So as you can see now, this is a Python list. As you see, it's telling us that the something is list. And for R, it's telling that the something is numeric, which is also a, as you see, this is the plot here. And you can do a lot of stuff. You can create any report, PDF, PowerPoint. In fact, for your PDF, my PowerPoint here with R. And also, if you look at this one too, okay, all these that I'm doing here, okay, I did everything in R. And my script is this one. This is my script here. This is my script. Can you see?
Yes, you can.
Okay, this is my script. Okay, before I continue, I want to teach us what is called R Studio. Sorry, what is called R, what is it? R, oh my God, I've forgotten. I'm coming, please. R, what? I'm coming, please. Okay, what is called R Studio project? Okay, for the sake of people that have been using R for so long, let me quickly do it now before we start answering questions on using R end-to-end. Alima, do we still have like 10 minutes more?
Less than 10 minutes, actually.
Okay, very good. So let me quickly show us this thing so that when we get this material, we remember that, okay, we know what is called R project. Okay, everybody always complains working directory. So working directory is where is the environment you are currently working. So for example, in where I am now, I can get my working directory by using getwd. Okay, getwd will show us our working directory. As you see now, my current working directory is document. So if I want to, let's say my data is on my desktop and I want to import it now, I will have a trouble here because I will be complaining of something. Okay, I want to put, okay, do I have any data sets? Okay, all right. Okay, let me do something. Okay, in R, I can just say women. Okay, I want to write it out. I want to export it as CSV. Okay, as CSV, you can see it is women dot DSN. Sorry, DSN women, for example, or bootcamp women, bootcamp. Okay, let's say bootcamp.csv. So if I export it out now, okay, would not find the function. All right, library dplyr. Okay, so now this thing has gone to my desktop. So sorry, has gone to my document because that is where it is. As you see now, this is it now. So let's say I want to import this data set now. Let's say it's on my desktop and I want to import it. All right. So I will have trouble here. So let's say how to import something in now, you just say read. So how Python use pd underscore read does something, but in now you just say read.csv, for example. So this is not good, but let's try to use it because this one is faster. This read underscore CSV is faster than the previous one. So I want to look for women now. Bootcamp, is it bootcamp? What? Bootcamp.csv. All right. Okay, this is where my working directory. This is my stuff. And if I come here now, you see, let's say I call it HAL, Alima. All right. See now, would not find the function. Okay, let me load the library that has that function, read R. All right. So if I load it now, what's happening? Okay, because it's in my working directory. So if I delete it, I will have error here now. See, It's telling me that this guy here does not exist in my current directory, and it is in my desktop. So how will I do that? Although I know you can try to import it like by pressing Ctrl+Shift+H to look for where it is, and that one will now help you to import it. But it's not good here, because if you have a lot of stuff, you cannot be changing your directory from one place to another. That is why they establish what is called R project. And why are we using R project? Because all your portfolio is in one place. Like me now, if you look at this one here, okay, for this bootcamp, I organize everything in one folder. This is my data, this is slide, this is my script, and everything is in this place. So I can play with different things. I can send a folder to anywhere, and it will directly come to this place. So to be able to do that, instead of you setting your working directory like this, set working directory, or using the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+H to set the working directory. Okay, if I come here now, so it will tell me that my working directory is now desktop. As you see, if I say get working directory, it's telling me it is desktop. But I cannot just be shifting, here and there. All right. So to do that, to solve that problem, we use R project. So let's see how we can use R project. So let me call this place. Let me call it Wiki. Some for example now. Okay, so I want to create a project. So to create a project, you come to File, all right, and then you click on New Project. So look at this place. So because we are not under any project, that is why it's telling us project none. So now to create a new project, you come here, New Project. Okay, it's telling us you want to save. No. So now, so we can play with this, either this or this. So if you don't have any folder or directory before, you can come here and click New Directory. So this one will create a new folder by itself. But now, because I have a directory, which is Wiki, so I just come here, existing. I have a new project now. If you see this place now, it has changed to Wiki. And what will this one enable us to do? Number one, okay, if I have, let's say I have bootcamp here, all right. So if I want to import any data set now, please, can you see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So if I want to import any data set from that folder, as you see now, it's telling me Wiki, and I can see what is inside it. So I don't need to change any directory. I don't have any problem with directory again. So just come here, DD, let's put our package, library, tidyverse that has everything. Okay. Then from there, I can just say DD, say read underscore CSV. All right. Once you press tab after quotation, okay, a list of something will come out. Then you can now select your folder, as you see, and now I can do it. Automatically, my data has been imported, and I can even look at it. I can view it on my pane, view DD. It will show me this. But you see that here, I'm not using capital V. I'm using small v because of this library. So in case you have not installed this library, you just try to use your capital V. As you see, now I have this. And this X1 because of the row name. So I can easily remove it. Okay. I can remove it by using DD.
Hi, Ezekiel.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if you can see the notification that we have only 5 minutes left. So
very good. I'm happy. Very good. Yeah, very good. Thank you. First, all the rows, but first column, or let's say select -1. Okay, because I don't want the first column to be there again. Okay, and now if I look at it now, you see I have DD now. All right, so that is project for us. We can do anything. Let's say I want to create a folder.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please, can you go over the project again? Like,
how to create a project?
No, not really the issue. Like, if you change the project now to another one, so like what happened? What's the importance of changing the project?
Okay, as I said, let's say you have a folder called, for example, we are working on a project called Data in Brief Publication, so where we extracted different tweets. So now, if I want to work with this guy here now, I will have to set my working directory to this folder. Okay, let me show you again. Let me close this guy. Okay, let me open my R. Okay, sorry. Let me close this project. Close project. You see what happened now? Okay. The main reason why we're using project is this. So if you look at my working directory, are you on your R Studio there?
No, but you can continue.
All right. If you look at the working directory, for example, you see that my own working directory, number 1, it has my name and the directory documents. But if you look at your own get WD, your name can never be the same like my own here. So, and that is the problem. I cannot be saying Ctrl+Shift+H. I'm looking for DIB. Okay, and C. So now I have set my working directory to this folder called DIB. All right, so I can do anything with it. So imagine I wrote a script, or let me just open this script here. I wrote a script like this one now, for example. Okay, and let's say you are collaborating with me in this project, and I try to set my working directory. Okay, I set it like this. So if I send this thing to you, you will not be able to use this function again. Although the function is working on my own computer, but in your own place here, because your directory is different from my own, even though we have the same folder as DIB here. All right. So that is why it is good for us to use a project. So if I use a project now, I send this script to you. If you run it, it will work on your computer. Automatically, this working directory will be changed to your own, and it will work without you doing anything.
Okay, so that means if you want to access another document in another working or in another directory, it can still work if you use the project.
Exactly, you can still work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we have just 1 minute more. This is where I solve questions, with R. For example, if you look at the question here, they ask us to import data set. The data set is you get it by using link. And how do we do that? So I use this guy, read_CSV, put the link there. So if you look at this one, there's a question here, display all the row in Kaneka. I use.
When will this article be released, please?
It should be released maybe before the end of the bootcamp. It's done already, but I just want to be sure everything is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Ezekiel.
You are most welcome, ma'am.
I enjoyed this session.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Learn something new.
Thank you very much. You really tried.
The session has ended.
And if you have any questions,
thank you very much. I believe that